Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. As you are aware, I just returned this morning from my first international trip as governor. The one neat thing about traveling internationally is you get to do over Friday twice. I had a full day on Friday yesterday, and I get another do over today, and another full day. The trip to Japan really was insightful, positive, and successful on many different fronts. I really felt it was a good start to a very important relationship. We were welcomed with aloha. It was heartwarming to see. In 3.5 days, we attended 19 meetings and events. So it was a very hectic and busy schedule. Japan and Hawaii have very strong ties. And, as I learned in my trip to Washington, D.C. to participate in the state dinner with Prime Minister Abe and President Obama, it was really important to be able to visit Japan and again meet with the Prime Minister and others. There are many economic ties and benefits. The Japanese companies making investment in the state of Hawaii. As you know, there are so many cultural ties and benefits. And again, so many educational opportunities as our schools are connected with many in Japan. In my meetings with many of those in Japan, I keep talking about how the relationship between Japan and Hawaii is more than business. It's more than friendship. It really is about family. And it was very much evident and pervasive in virtually every meeting that we had. We continue to build upon the relationships in the past. In several of the meetings, people that I met with or organizations that I met with had mentioned previous relationships with Governor Ariyoshi and Senator Danny Noy, and how they valued how both of them were able to help in different aspects in the Japan-United States relationships. And so for me personally, one of the reasons I felt it was important to travel to Japan at this time is really to establish that relationship and strengthen the relationship that Hawaii does have with Japan. And it did come up in several of the meetings as we went to the many different organizations. They really have an interest in exchanges with our young people, student exchanges. They are looking to ways to have students in Hawaii and students in Japan get engaged and are able to exchange experiences. I really believe it's important to have face-to-face meetings, especially in working the relationship with Japan, and that's why I really felt that it was important. Japan is one of our most important international relationships. I told many that I met that we continue to believe that the Hawaii-Japan relationship is one of the most important for the future of Hawaii. We talked a lot about growth in Japanese guests to Hawaii. It is very competitive. For outbound travel from Japan to Hawaii and other countries, overall is down by almost 4% this year. Visitors to Hawaii, though, was virtually identical. So While other destinations were losing visitors, Hawaii was able to maintain the number of visitors coming here. And again, it's 1.5 million visitors. Spending is about $2.5 billion. It accounts for $260 million in state tax revenues. About 19 flights per day from 6 major cities, more than 5,000 seats to Hawaii. Um, we talked about a lot of different issues to help strengthen and improve travel from Japan. The Prime Minister has made Japanese travel a priority. They are taking action to encourage citizens to take vacations. They've talked about mandating a 5-day vacation for everyone in Japan. And they've set pretty aggressive goals to expand outboard travel from Japan to other destinations at 20 million people a year. So they are, Prime Minister Abe and the government in Japan is truly promoting the notion that Japanese people should be traveling more to other countries. And we want to make sure that Hawaii can benefit from that thrust. I spoke with many about pre-clearance. As we announced a couple weeks ago, Narita Airport was designated to be one of those that the government of Japan and government of the United States is negotiating to have pre-clearance happen. It came up repeatedly in virtually every meeting that I had that they saw significant value in being able to implement pre-clearance at Narita Airport. Um, they believe that there would be significant opportunities to increase travel, especially for the neighbor islands. You know, we see it as an opportunity. As you are aware, occupancy on Oahu is always ahead, or most of the time is ahead of occupancy in neighbor islands. And we have been working, HTA has been working, we have been working to distribute the visitors a little more to the neighbor island so that they can get the economic benefit. Virtually every hospitality related company saw a pre-clearance as a very positive and attractive opportunity for growing the number of guests we get from Japan. I also talked about the investments we were making in our airports and the airport modernization program, the more than $1 billion that we are investing in our airports. I talked about our efforts to establish an international airport at Kona Airport. 40 million of that modernization is targeted to Kona so that we can establish customs and immigration there on a permanent basis. And in my trip to Washington, D.C. For the NGA conference, I had met with many federal agencies to talk about both pre-clearance and establishing an international point of entry at Kona Airport. We had many conversations about how we can get more guests from Japan to Hawaii. The meetings incentives market is doing good business this year, and it's obviously another area that we would like to expand. We are looking at doing more business to business promotions. They had just concluded a very successful promotion with McDonald's in Japan. They actually had a Hawaii menu in all of the McDonald's, and they ran a contest that they had a drawing so that some lucky McDonald's customer would win a trip to Hawaii as the prize. And can you imagine McDonald's Japan was selling loco mocos, pineapple pies, and a couple of other mango shakes, and a couple of other Hawaii focused uh, focused products. And the promotion was so successful that there are other companies in Japan who are interested in doing similar promotions. Lawson's, and for those of you who have traveled to Japan, Lawson's is the ABC store of Japan, but they are virtually everywhere. There's more than 12,000 stores, Lawson stores in Japan, and they will be initiating a similar Hawaii promotion. Obviously, they're looking at creating different kinds of menu items because they don't want to directly be accused of copying McDonald's, but they will be promoting a Hawaii menu, and they'll be doing a promotion similar to McDonald's, where the winners of the drawing would win a trip to to Hawaii as part of that promotion. We also talked with several different groups about how it's important to expand the opportunities for guests from Japan to explore different experiences when they're coming to Hawaii. As all of you know, the large, overwhelming majority of guests from Japan now are repeat visitors, people who have come to Hawaii more than once. And there is strong encouragement from our partners in Japan about pursuing and continuing to pursue new opportunities and new experiences for visitors from Japan. You may recall there was a big Arashi concert in Hawaii. While we were there, and we met with some of those involved with that concert. DVD and Blu-ray sales from that concert set a record in Japan. Total gross sales exceeded $60 million of the concert in Hawaii. So we definitely are looking and working to see if there are similar kinds of events that we can work with partners in Japan to have them here. And what we heard from many of those that we talked to is, as you know, Tokyo is hosting the Olympics in 2020. And for many of the promoters in Japan, their access to venues in Japan will become limited in that run up to the Tokyo Olympics. So we do believe that there's a win-win opportunity for us, and we continue to speak with our partners in Japan to look at other similar types of events that we can host here in Hawaii, bringing a significant number of guests in to participate. And there was strong interest in a wide variety of things. As you guys know, the Honolulu Marathon is a big success. They're promoting a half marathon on Maui. That's kind of a similar health promotion activity. So we are committed to work with them to identify these kinds of opportunities to expand the experience of our guests from Japan. At the same time, I was speaking with CEOs of many of the companies to talk about broadening business investment in Hawaii. In several of the meetings, when I talked about Hawaii's commitment to 100% renewable energy generation for electricity, and expressed my desire to engage Japanese companies in that, there were several of them expressed interest. There are several Japanese companies partners in the smart grid project on Maui, looking at electric vehicles and how they can do more to increase the use of solar and I guess distributed generation in general on Maui. And there was significant interest by several of the companies, Hitachi and others, that are currently participating in Maui that would be interested in participating in other projects that we have going forward. Um, I did. I was very grateful to be able to arrange for a meeting with Prime Minister Abe. Um, they're very structured, as you know. We were informed that we would get 10 minutes of the Prime Minister's time, and everything was pretty structured, I suppose, just as the opportunity to meet with President Obama is pretty limited. Um, but we were actually engaged in a very, very good conversation. Prime Minister talked about working with Governor Ariyoshi and his previous experience in working with Senator Inouye, and look forward to continuing the relationship. Um, I invited him to visit us here in Hawaii, and we talked about his experiences in Hawaii. And he had shared a story where, he didn't travel a whole lot when he was a lot younger, but he had a family who would come and visit Hawaii, and his first impression was ice cream, because as the economy of Japan was struggling in the early 60s and 70s. The dairy products were terrible. And so his recollection is quality ice cream from Hawaii. And the second thing that he remembered growing up was pineapple and being able to eat pineapple. And so he talked about actually getting fresh fruit from pineapple from Hawaii, and he didn't understand it didn't look like the pineapple that he got growing up, because he always thought that pineapples came in a can with a ring in the middle. So I just offered, as a professional pineapple trimmer, that I would assure if he traveled to Hawaii, that I would trim his pineapple and he'd be able to get it with the ring in the middle, because that was my first job. So we ended up talking almost 30 minutes with the Prime Minister, which I was very grateful for. A wide-ranging conversation, talked about 100% renewable, talked about the importance of the Japan-Hawaii relationship, and most importantly, the Japan-Hawaii relationship in the context of the Japan-United States relationship, because he is committed to strengthening that strategic partnership. We talked about pivot to Asia and how important Hawaii plays into that role. And it was a very heartwarming conversation with the Prime Minister. And then I did finally invite him again to visit Hawaii, and he actually said that he would try to make arrangements on his next trip to the United States to stop in Hawaii either before or after his business. I also was able to meet with many members of the Diet in Japan. We probably met with more than 20 members, both the House of Councilors as well as the House of Representatives. Again, many of the Diet members talked about their relationships with Dan Inouye, and about how they are trying to figure out what's the best mechanism for them to strengthen the U.S.-Japan relationships in their capacity as Diet members. And so, Hawaii is the only state that has a friendship league with both the House of Councilors and the House of Representatives in the Japan Diet. And typically, they have relationships with the Congress, but they don't have relationships with states. So we had a couple meetings with members of the Diet to talk about all of the things again, the Hawaii-Japan relationship, about our hope for 100% renewable energy future, about the opportunity to work together in those areas. So it really was a very, very good set of meetings with the members of the Diet as they begin to acknowledge, and many of them just talked about the fact that the Hawaii-Japan relationship is so different than the relationship between Japan and any other state in the country. And then we did have the opportunity, I did have an opportunity to meet with a couple of the cabinet members when I was there. Again, focused on pre-clearance and international airport at Kona. So we had a good conversation with the Minister for Land, Transport, Infrastructure, and Tourism to talk about pre-clearance, to talk about opportunities for expansion of visitors from Japan coming to Hawaii. He was a big supporter of student exchanges. He really does believe that if we can get our young people to interact, that it would strengthen, and really he believes that the future of strengthening the Japan-Hawaii relationship will really rest with our ability to get our students to engage and talk and exchange. So First Lady Dawn did travel. At first she wasn't gonna go, and she decided on Sunday that she would travel to Japan. She did pay her own way for transportation, so she wasn't there in her official capacity. But Chikasaki, which is a sister city relationship with Honolulu, and they are actively seeking to have student exchanges. And she was able to visit the school, meet and speak with students and teachers and administrators from Chikasaki. And as you all know, there are more hula dancers in Japan than there are in Hawaii now. And students from Chikasaki High School performed hula for the governor's reception on Wednesday night. So we had a touch of Hawaii without having to bear the expense of flying out a hula troupe. So it was a terrific reception. And with that, I'll throw it over to questions. There's lots of things I could talk about, and a lot of it is in process. We did talk specifically about actions that we take immediately. We've had conversations to expand and add more flights between Japan and Hawaii, and we'll be making some specific announcements shortly. There definitely was a receptiveness to the airlines that I was able to meet with, especially since all of them reported that travel to Hawaii has really been steady and strong, and the flights were very full. And we were looking to add more flights and capacity to really get more visitors here.
So, Governor,
yeah.
The Prime Minister was glad that we found another person with 3 letters in their name, and Ige and Abu, right? Anyway, I'm intrigued about the business-to-business and student exchanges.
Yeah.
Is it going to be more than surf and sand? Is it going to be STEM business?
Well, my conversation was focused around renewable energy, because that is, there was lots of conversation about hospitality, and there will be continued investment in that area. As you know, Hitachi has acquired Ansaldo, and so now is a business partner with the transit project. So I did talk with them about that, although that deal is not going to close until probably the end of the year. So they're really not Hitachi yet, even though they do expect that they'll become a subsidiary of Hitachi by the end of the year. And as you know, Hitachi manufactures the bullet trains in Japan, and is very active with the transit system in Japan, from both a management system as well as the automation of the vehicles moving from point to point.
So will that spin off to student exchanges?
Student exchanges, actually, there was a lot of interest when we met with, especially the tour companies. they are looking, Prime Minister Abe has established that goal of 20 million outbound travelers from Japan, which is a significant impact increase. And so all of the tour hospitality companies are looking for what kinds of other things they can do in terms of trying to get travel. So education actually came up. We are working on an initiative with our partners in Japan to encourage more student exchanges. And we'll probably be releasing more details on that student exchange soon. But that definitely is something that they are really interested in, and there has been interest on our side about facilitating and organizing that. I spoke at the Hiroshima Kenjin Kai about a month ago, and they've sisters city relationship between Hiroshima and Honolulu, and they want to have a sister school relationship with every high school in Hiroshima with high school here in Hawaii. I think they're up to 17 at this point. And so, we're looking at all of those kinds of activities, and really the interest is in really, beside just the sister school relationships, is really to take it to that next level and actually work on student exchanges and Japanese students traveling to visit in Hawaii, and Hawaii students visiting in Japan. And so, we definitely will be working to expand that area.
What prompted the trip to begin with? Was there an invitation from someone?
No, I mean, we have been looking at what opportunities we would. As you know, the dollar has strengthened significantly over the last 6 months. And so there was concern with softening of bookings and other activities, and I think that it was kind of twofold. So one was to make sure, how Japan is our most important international origin. And we wanted to make sure that those at the highest level in our Japanese partners are fully aware that the governor of the state of Hawaii thinks that relationship is important, and that I wanted to personally encourage them to understand that we are committed to a longer term relationship, as well as helping them help us be successful. Hospitality is truly a win-win on both sides. Companies benefit from bringing guests to Hawaii, and Hawaii generates 200,000 jobs from visitors coming to Hawaii.
Was there any talk of increasing travel from in the reverse direction from Hawaii to Japan?
They definitely are interested in receiving more visitors. I think a lot of the effort on Japan's part is focused on outbound, but I did receive several questions about. They really do consider Hawaii to be the premier um, destination in terms of hospitality. And several, especially members of the Diet, as well as businesses, talked about what they could do to improve in coming into Japan. And so we talked a lot about, I just told them it's really about people wanting to travel to Japan, want to hear their story. They want to experience their culture and learn their history. And I think that that's been how we've been successful. It's really for visitors and guests to experience what Hawaii is really like. Okay. Thank you guys very much.